Like you was just going to do it. And I said, well, I care. I had to care, you know. It's just that was the reason. So started out at Lackland.
Okay. Texas.
Wasn't, you know, I was 23. I wasn't like some of the 18-year-old kids and 19. I was an older guy. You know, worked before. I was cool with it. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And it was basic training was pretty much a learning, testing phase of, you know, making sure you're ready to absorb what's going to happen to you once you get out into the real Air Force. But did that. Went to Shepherd Air Force Base for tech school training, which was about 3-4 months long. You learned about the fundamentals of aircraft.
Okay. Where was that at?
That was at Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay.
So it was a 5-hour, I think it was a 5-hour bus ride from Shepherd to, or Lackland to Shepherd.
Okay.
We did that. Then I think it was November of '91. It was, okay, here's your duty stations possible that you get to pick and choose where you would like to go.
Okay.
I wanted to go back close to home as if I could, but it didn't happen. And I ended up getting Valdosta, Georgia, Moody Air Force Base, first location, which is where I spent my, I was assigned to the 347th Equipment Maintenance Squadron, phase stop. Airplane flies so many hours, it comes in for a phase stock inspection. It's a week-long inspection of the entire aircraft.
Okay.
You open panels, you remove stuff, you repair stuff, you ops check everything. But I learned so much about the aircraft. I could walk, by the time I left that unit, I could walk to an airplane and you can ask me what component was under that panel, and I can tell you. We could walk around. I had great instructors, great trainers. I had a great time. I learned a lot. First time I traveled out of the country, we TDY to Sigonella, Italy, another Navy location. 3 weeks there. I was on a wheel and tire team. We made wheels, we made tires for the F-16 Fighting Falcon. Great time. Sigonella was a wonderful, wonderful location. The food, the people, it was great. And after that, came back home and deployed to Operation Southern Watch. So post Desert Storm, Southern Watch, this was rotation number 9. I remember it like it was yesterday. June the 8th to September the 18th, 1993. Dhahran Air Base, Saudi Arabia. Lived in dorms. Matter of fact, where the Kobar Towers explosion happened.
Yeah.
I know exactly where it happened. Our dorms when we were there were probably a block away from where it happened at. And we used to walk up to the fence line and give the little kids candy.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a gas truck parked down there full of explosives when it blew. So I was like, wow, we were there probably 2 or 3 years before it happened. And so Moody Air Force Base did that. While I was in while I was in Saudi Arabia there, my bosses called from back home and said, hey, tell Ramsey he has orders to South Korea. Okay. So as soon as I returned back, maybe 3 weeks to out process, go home on leave for a month, and then took a flight to Osan Air Base in South Korea.
I've been there. I've been to Osan as well.
You've been to Osan? Okay.
Yeah, I've been to Osan.
that's my hot spot. Yeah. So did Osan. I arrived there, and so coming from the phase dock, you weren't assigned to an aircraft. You were assigned to really everything, every jet that came into the hangar. You worked on it for a week, and you kick it back out to the flight line. So getting to Osan, my flight chief, you get the introduction, you meet each other, you talk, and he was like, hey, we're going to put you on the wing commander's jet. I was like, okay, what does that mean to me?
Yeah.
Well, it was a full bird colonel, and I kind of knew what the ranking system was, of course, but full bird colonel. My boss coming in was a former Air Force Thunderbird, which was one of the air show performing guys. So I get there and I'm learning about the plane more, learning about flight line operations. It's a
Mhm.
different world than my 2 years at the phase dock. Everything was slow. We had time. We had two shifts, maybe three to, a week to repair aircraft, inspect and repair aircraft was fine. No rush,
Yeah.
But the flight line,
Uh-huh.
you had ops, you had pilots, you had your chief, your maintenance managers, your captain, your lieutenant, you had officers. I was an assistant dedicated crew chief. So I was the
Okay.
second person. You had your dedicated crew chief, your assistant dedicated crew chief, and you might have two or three of those. It just depends on the manning. So that was a different world. And a former Thunderbird, Mr. Perfect, clean, aircraft clean, real sharp, uniform sharp, boots shine.
Mhm.
I was good with that portion of it, but we set the bar high when we got there and got going. Um, our aircraft, our HAS, which is a hardened aircraft shelter, our hangar.
Mhm.
We can remember one weekend he's like, so what are you doing this weekend, man? I said, I'm just gonna hang out with my buddies, play basketball, barbecue, cook out, we'll hang out. He said, no, I need you to come in this weekend. We gotta paint the hangar floor. We gotta clean the hangar out. And just I was like, what? On a
Mhm.
Saturday? So we came in, man, we
Mhm.
had the lines. You got a safety area in front of the aircraft that was painted yellow. You had the wheel lines where you roll the aircraft back into the hangar. The 12-inch section around the entire inside the hangar. We had a special conics inside the hangar that was full of cleaning supplies, extra parts, extra tires, nose, main landing gear tires. Um, and that next Monday, the flight chief brings all the other crew chiefs out, and he opens a door and says, "This is what I want our other hazards to look like. Not as clean as ours, or not as marked up, painted, but just as clean." So
Mhm.
it was great to work for. I still remember Brigadier General Robert H. Fogelson. Some Air Force individuals who are on here might know this name, but he's retired
Uh-huh.
4-star, retired many years ago. But
Mhm.
he was the boss, and it was great. We Yeah, you might not remember this guy. You remember Bernard Shaw, CNN, Fox
Yeah.
News?
Mhm.